Hi everybody and welcome to the next episode of the Smashing Skull Sessions. This week I'm delighted to welcome one of the UK's finest post-metal acts. I'm a big fan of them from the very beginning, right from their early days, and I'd just like to welcome Telepathy. Lads, how are you getting on?
Hi.
All good?
Yeah, we're all doing good.
I can see from where you are, you've just finished rehearsals maybe, yeah?
We're just about to get, we'll probably do after.
Oh, you haven't started yet?
It's been a busy morning, yeah.
I get you. Well, look, we keep this as quick and as easy for you as I can anyway. So lads, look, I suppose you were formed back in 2011, yeah? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Around that time, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there were I think we kind of got to know each other 2010 and started already doing something before that, but I think as Telepathy it was 2011.
Yeah, obviously there's three brothers here, so you probably knew each other pretty well before you started, I'd hope.
Yes.
And how did you get involved, Richard? Are you local to each other, or how did you get into the band?
We went to the same college in Braintree,
Okay.
studied music tech, and I heard Pete and Albert playing some original stuff in one of the rehearsal rooms one day.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I've got to get involved in this.
And would you have been involved in a band before that, Richard? No.
Yeah. I played in a couple of bands locally.
Do you know it was actually specifically me and Richard got assigned to do like a sort of a music project within that tech class.
Okay. All right.
Because Richard was actually in another band, he brought some riffs that he hasn't yet put in that band.
Oh, brilliant.
Play with me, and then once Peter got involved as well, because we were playing too, it just slowly meshed together basically.
Yeah, there was questions asked in a way, you know.
Yeah.
I think discuss any of this. We just got in the room, wrote about 5 songs, finished them kind of.
Yeah.
And then decided to record it and go touring straight away.
Yeah.
Well,
no wasting time there, anyway, that's for sure. Like Richard, you brought some of your own stuff. You said a few of your own riffs and all that to the table. Did you use them from the start?
Yeah. I think to begin with, we started working on stuff that you guys were doing.
yeah, there was a couple of songs.
And I added some stuff to that, and then started bringing in more stuff after we'd finished those 2 tracks.
Yeah.
There was never really a conversation where we were like, "Oh, we are a band."
Okay, it just happened so really, did it?
Now it's 10 years later.
It's when Krystian came up with the name, and that's when the band happened. So
Actually, that's an interesting one. Yeah, Krystian, where did it come from? Telepathy. How did you decide on it?
So actually, the thing is, I didn't even totally came up with the name. I guess I had the idea because there was this thing I was quite obsessed with at the time. That there was this weird experiment called telephone telepathy, and it was basically about that if you took a couple of people in the room and asked them who called them, and it was set up in such a way that they're supposed to guess who is calling them, and they had these 3 choices. Okay. More than 50% chance every time they were guessing, which suggested there was some telephone telepathy. So like this impression that you might get a call from you think of someone and someone calls you, that there is some. So I was kind of, wow, that's like weird evidence for that shit, you know. But so that kind of made me think of telepathy. But I think I even gave a different.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
telepathy.
And then our mates changed it to telepathy, and
because we're thinking like, that's really cheesy. That kind of doesn't really sound right. Sounds very maybe 60s or something. And then Sam, Richard's friend, said basically, "Oh, why not telepathy?" And we were just like, "Okay."
Yeah. Just that.
Like, okay, there's no band such as this since 70s. There was 80s. 80s there was a heavy metal band I think called Telepathy. They've done 1 EP and they decided. So we just kind of why not? It just seems like an obvious name for a band, really.
I think it's a great name for a band. Like, I mean, there's a load of band names out there, and you go searching on Bandcamp and you see maybe 8, 9 bands with the same name. And you're saying, "Fuck it, not check this first to see was there other bands out there. But Telepathy seems to stand out. Like everyone knows of the post-metal band Telepathy. It's nothing else, which is great.
I think there's one.
Yeah, I think there is a career.
They do like a dance, like kind of techno pop, kind of something like that.
Yeah, you might be right. Actually, there was. I think I spotted that. Yeah. But come here, lads. As I said, you're 11 years old already. Like, does it feel like 11 years has passed since you got together? I mean, it's a long time for any band, and you're still young guys. Like,
I think it's because I think that this might be leading into other subject, but it's kind of been divided up because it's been sort of few years, and then Krystian obviously left, and then Ed joined, and then that's changed again. So I think we never felt as this is like a bulk, right? That's 11 years gone.
Okay.
Been a pretty flowing journey, so I don't think it feels like a decade.
No, it's kind of you're crazy. I mean, if you look at how much we did, if I things, then that definitely would be 10 years. But no, it doesn't feel. I feel with this album especially, which we write or will be writing about release whenever, we feel young again, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
For a moment, when we feel like, oh, it's 10 years or whatever, but it's been a long time, and the whole COVID thing made everything really kind of difficult mentally for many, I think.
Oh, big time, yeah.
But writing the album turned out to be one of the best things we can do in that time, and that felt great.
Brilliant. So 10 years doesn't feel like 10 years. It sort of feels like it's broken up into maybe 2 or 3 sort of timelines, yeah, for Telepathy, like as a band.
Yeah. I mean, the way, like personally, it feels like forever. Like I feel like these guys are my family now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been 10 years of time, if you know what I mean.
I do, I get you, yeah. And like, has it all been worth it, lads? All the time you put into it? All the grafting hours of fucking sharing jobs and getting to the studio in the evenings, trying to get fucking records released. Has it all paid off? Do you think it's...
I think it's a balance. Because this is a funny one. We were looking at these questions, obviously, and thinking, how do you best answer these kind of things? And with this, it's like, if I'm going to answer honestly, not everything is always worth it, but it all balances itself well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, there is good and bad times. I get that. It's not an easy fucking road. Like, but where you're sitting today now, and you look back, and would you say, "Fuck it, it's great where we are now. We're happy to be where we are, writing the new material and happy with the material." So I'm assuming you're in a good place, lads.
I think that the fact that having a freedom of, we always did what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we still do what we want. And having, if someone told me you can go back in time and change things, I would find it hard to change those things, even if they were painful.
Yeah.
Just because of that freedom which we have now, especially what we're doing at the moment. It feels like the experience of the last 10 years, however hard, brought us to this moment which feels right. So.
Yeah, I think it's the cheesy part of it as well as like all those times that I could say, oh, that was a really shitty time or whatever. It's actually a fun story more often than ever.
Yeah. It's not something you change, like good or bad. So really, it's part of the memories, I suppose, isn't it, of developing as a band? Like
when you look back, you don't really have bad days. You just have learning days.
Yeah.
So.
You should get that printed. That's a great comment. Sure you have to copyright that one, I'd say. So can I ask you lads about Teddy, the bass player who left? And I couldn't believe that it was actually back in 2016. Was it that he left the band?
No.
It can't be. Am I right?
That was Tuesday.
No, he joined the band.
Yeah. He joined 2016 and he left. Or it was 2015 perhaps, but didn't he leave?
First year of COVID he left.
Yes.
First summer of
2019 then?
No, it was 2020, end of 2020.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
So we were actually on annual leave.
Yes.
And he called us.
Yeah.
So and that was a weird. it's a weird one for me, especially because I was actually having a number 2, and I get a from Ted like, hey, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gotta be honest, I gotta leave the band. It's like, yeah,
The typical moment, because Ted rang me and was like, yeah, I'm going to leave the band. We had like a long discussion about it, and obviously it's really sad, but I tried to get hold of these guys and they're up a mountain in Norway. So
that time when there was a bit of a relaxation with the rules, we managed to go for a little holiday, which was nice. I think the fact that Ted left, it was that beginning of pandemic, and people were just having the moment of what just happened. The life are changing.
yeah,
People made different choices.
I think everyone learned what their priorities were, and
At that time, yeah.
For Ted's such a gifted frontman. It made more sense for him to do his own thing where he could really lead a band.
Okay.
Like Telepathy's a really democratic sort of.
That's him now, is it?
That's Ted. This is a really democratic band, and it can be hard to work with if you've got a vision.
Yeah.
Your own vision. So
yeah.
we're all still friends with Ted, and we see him about the town and that.
Yes. So even though he was what do you call him, a front man or not, there was no real front man in this band, like, because you all have such a big part in it, so it's not one guy dictating, I take it. So
Yeah, and he had this project he'd been working on for a while, and I think the time came that he couldn't share. You had to. You have your own thing. I think you just need to invest a lot of time, especially now. Like nowadays, you have to be your own producer. You have to be you have to write, you have to produce, you have to promote.
oh yeah, it's a big job now. Yeah.
Especially when you start from the scratch.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work, I think, not like back in the day.
What about you, Alistair? Then was it a no-brainer to come back to the band? Or Krystian? Sorry, Jesus. I know what Alistair came from.
Like, I don't know, maybe there was something in the air anyway.
Yeah.
As I distanced myself from the band when I left, I was getting closer and closer throughout the last year somehow, but I was just not like pushing out. Just like I went with them just as a roadie a little bit, and on the inside I was having those romantic feelings. It was good days, and then when I was like, oh, shit. It's like weird. It's like kind of meant to be ish, right?
I get you, yeah.
Yeah, so it felt natural. That's what I could say.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And you haven't looked back. Krystian, on it, no? Delayed the call.
Today looking back, but at the same time, this is what I want.
Very good. Well, I suppose if I want to go on, I remember, as you probably know, Richard, because I met you on 2 occasions at gigs. I met you at Dunkfest, and I met you when you played alongside Sauce back in the Fleece in Bristol. I'm only thinking now, sure, Ted was there that time. So yeah, that was 2019 maybe. Yeah, he was still around back then, yeah. But lads, tell me about that show and that, I don't know, being with Sauce, like, was there a lot to learn from that?
It was like the biggest learning curve that I can remember.
Touring, the whole crew, so professional, everything on time, and luckily we like being very efficient. So we found that the relationship between us and the crew was great. With the band, it developed obviously. I mean, they were after a long tour. They were really tired, but still playing amazingly.
It still took time to actually give some time to us as well. Outside of that, when it was like the end of the tour, our end of the tour, and
and if you go to see bands like Solstice, you are a fan. You're almost like, I like the band, So playing for fans of the band, such as Solstice, that's demanding, I would say,
When you walk out on stage and, I think we were in Manchester and it's a sold-out crowd and there's 2 Solstice t-shirts in front of you, you're like, okay, we've really...
And did it put you off, no? Or did you did it feed you, did you get a sense that you could fucking really sort of make an impression here, you know, by playing in front of these guys.
I think it's such a great opportunity. Like when you're sort of gifted that chance to perform for someone else's fans, you've got like a level of trust from the band and the management, and you just sort of really use it to your advantage, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Just got to go and give 150%.
And yeah, I'm the fan of the band since before we play with them. So for me, it was exciting. I could just see them every night. So for me, it was really nice. And I remember a year before we played with them, we went to see them in London.
Yeah.
And it was a very, it was quite funny because I watched them that night and I said, I think we're going to play with them. Because it just felt like, right, like I can imagine us playing in front of, before them, in the lineup. And I just said that to Richard. And Richard said, okay. And then management. And it just went from there. So
I mean, we're really fortunate because from that tour, we're now with the same management company as Solstafir and Aranzi Pazuzu. So
okay, because I was going to ask you, how did it come about in the first place? Who made contact to give you the slot with Solstafir in the first place?
I just, if I'm honest, I just emailed their management and I said, I know you've got this tour coming up. Are you looking for UK acts?
Yeah.
Erin, the manager, was lovely enough to just say, yeah.
It pays off, doesn't it? Just to drop an email, that's how it's done.
Yeah, then you go through the agents and stuff like that.
It doesn't always work, but so it was in some way.
I think it's the right email at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. Because it could have just as well been missed. You know, if someone had a tough day and just skipped your email, I think.
And we've been on other support tours with Saint Vitus and Bong Ripper, and those kind of things are just normally all worked out by your booking agent, and they say, "Do you want to do this?" And we say, "Yeah, cool."
Yeah.
But that one was more of a personal thing for us.
Mm-hmm. And it felt like that. It felt really great because of that as well. And I think it just proved the point that when we saw the Solstafir, it just felt like, we fit that. Yeah. We fit well with them on the tour, and that's, I think, as well what the management saw, maybe.
Like, I'm assuming the feedback was great for you anyway, because the show that I saw that time in Bristol, like, I was talking to a few guys around, and people were, as much as they were delighted to see Solstafir, like, your name was on their lips, like, they were saying, fuck it, the support band were incredible, those who hadn't seen you before. And in fairness, you did fucking tear it up. Like, it was a great show, absolutely brilliant show. So I think you've gained a lot of new supporters, I would think, from that. I mean, how many shows did you do with them?
Was it five?
Yeah,
Six.
I thought it was 7.
7? Okay, I'm missing 2.
We went to Ireland at the end, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we did 3 in Ireland, or was it 2 in Ireland? 2. The Belfast and Dublin.
Yeah.
I think you did too, because I had all my tickets and flights bought for Bristol, and then I see you come to fucking Ireland for what you did.
The Irish, particularly, actually, the Irish shows were really good.
Don't rub it in. No, but right, we're good, and it was obviously a good first experience as well for us.
Yeah. Tell me that you've signed to Svart Records. Did that all come about because of the Solstafir shows, or was that something that was happening anyway?
That was something that came about with a lot of help, really, from our producer, who worked on Tempest and Burn Embrace, Gomez, and he was the one. We were looking for a new label, just to open up some more doors with distribution and stuff like that after Tempest, and he was really keen on us getting together with Svart Records, and he said, like, it's one of those things where we're one of the only bands on that label with this style of music, and that label's got such a forward-thinking outlook to the music that they release, that it meant that we could keep one foot in the style of music that we play, but also, not put any limitations on what we do in the future.
Yeah.
They've been.
There was an opportunity there, so really, I mean, it worked out for both. Like, as you said, you were the first of that, I suppose, post-metal sound to go onto the label. So it was a benefit to them as well, I suppose, because they were tapping into another genre of music, like, weren't they? You know, it wasn't a one-way street.
I think so. I think we are different. I think they're quite versatile. I mean, they have so many different bands. It's actually, they're a nice label to look through, you know. Just go on their website, you find a lot of things, you know, if you like different styles. So yeah, definitely, I think we did bring something in. But they liked the record, you know. That's first of all, they listened to it and they really liked it. So
another thing was also with the vinyl. Because we always loved the vinyl releases, and that was quite important for us. They put a lot of emphasis on that as well, as far as does, and that was quite important for us.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to talk over you because it seems to disrupt the sound. So as you're chatting, I'll nod away, but I won't step in as you're chatting, lads. But I suppose go back to Tempest, the album itself. I know you listened to it last night, I suppose, in sort of preparation for a chat with you, just to remind myself. And it's an incredible album. Like, are you still proud of it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid album, definitely. We wouldn't change a bit, you know. It's just the way it was meant to be. Not overthought, you know, at all. It was just, we were going from 12 areas into something slightly bigger, slow down a bit, you know. That was the idea of it.
Yeah,
kind of
it is a big album. Like, it's a heavy album. Like, and
but
it's still incredibly melodic, you know. And I mean, the tempo changes. You know, it goes from, as you said, slow to fast seamlessly. You know, it's one of those albums that just clicked. Like, I think that's it.
I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
That's record from when we released it to the end of the touring we did for that album. Really, sort of, it felt like it cemented the band for us. We were very fortunate to just see, like, the audience kind of grow as we went through those 2-3 years of playing. And personally, like, I still really connect with those songs when we play them live. They don't feel that old to me now. Like,
it's funny because in a way, maybe it's those how in a way, well, they're not the most complex songs ever, but they are in some way because there's quite a lot. So playing them now when we feel more comfortable after all those years, we connect with them in a different way, in a fresh way, and that's quite nice. I find it always with the bands, with some of my favorite bands such as Tool and so on, the songs are so complex, so rich. It takes you enjoy listening to them for many, many years because you discover new things. So hopefully that's what Tempest feels to us, like, you know, that we can reconnect with it in a new way.
I think I can also say that with Tempest, for me personally, especially, it was drum-wise, it might not be as crazy as 12 Areas was, because 12 Areas was all over the place. It was just like, just kind of almost mishmash sometimes in drum-wise, and Tempest was a total change of dynamic for me, and that was hard to actually learn for me, to play with more restraint and sort of just make sure to open up space for these guys. And it was demanding, and even though there's less crazy bits, it was actually really hard for me to play. And over the years of touring, it felt like I was learning it more and more. It wasn't like I learned it, recorded it, and then replayed it. It was a constant sort of like, oh, I can play this a lot better now, like this bit, and it was evolving as well. So nowadays it's even more so. It's like a constant thing that I do small adjustments to, it's a very unique one for me, definitely. So it seems to never really stop changing. Yeah.
But I suppose that goes to show that you enjoy playing it still so as well as, I mean, as you said, Richard, like, that stuff is, it's high octane stuff for the live environment. Like, it's a great album to play live, I would assume, for you as well. And like you said, there's more structure to it, I suppose, drumming wise, than there would have been earlier. So you're even learning as you go, like you said yourself.
I think that one of the best shows on that, I guess you were there at Dunk Festival.
Yeah.
That felt like, it's really strange because it felt like we've re-released the album almost when we played that song, because I think that show, like, moved us as well. Just the setting, and we played the whole record there, and it was a really important show for us.
Yeah, because it included a lot of little changes. Like the song structures didn't change, but a lot of, especially Albert, changes a lot of little accents and other little drums. So if you listen to live versions and you listen to the album, he introduces new bits, which is kind of have that little.
But there's also a lot of on the same hand. There's lots of transitions between songs that we changed live, as opposed to in comparison to the album version. And there, for example, Peter and Richard had a lot more area to play about with transitions, samples, and bits and bobs. So yeah, there's it's constantly changing.
It's also a great learning curve to sometimes give a bit more time before recording the album. It's nice to get what we're doing now. We want to play the songs as many times through as possible to to discover those bits which we would normally over next years of touring.
Yeah.
So to songs much more.
That dunk experience was fantastic. I mean, to play at that stage, in the woods, it must have been something. Whatever it is for me to look down and watch you play, but for you to be on the stage looking up onto this hill, I suppose, full of trees and people, it must have been a great experience, lads, was it?
It was an amazing show. But I remember we'd been touring for like a year on that record, and then when our agent sent through the offer for Dunk, and we were looking at the lineup, and we were like, it's going to be Rosetta, then us on another stage, and that was sort of like, if you told me when I was 16 that we'd be playing with Rosetta in the Ocean, it did blow my mind even then.
Yeah.
And we got to do that a couple of times on that tour, like the same three bands. And Rosetta especially became like quite good friends of ours. We keep in touch, and
great.
It was really amazing experience. Sort of like a bucket list.
Yeah, and it was in a fucking forest. Like that's just bizarre.
It is bizarre, and I spoke to a few other people on the show, and it's a pity that it's gone. That show now has moved to Ghent, an indoor arena, so you can now say that you played the forest stage. It's something that won't be done again for a long time, I'd say, It was great. But look, I suppose I might as well take an opportunity here, lads, to play some of your music for anyone that's listening here. I decided on Pariah from Burn Embrace. I'll just play maybe a minute or two here for you guys. Okay. Was Pariah from the album Burn Embrace. Fantastic track, guys. Can I ask you, I introduced you there as a post-metal band. Are you happy with that? Do you care what you're labelled as, or do you see yourselves as something else?
Well, at the beginning we didn't like it necessarily, because we were not really, I was personally not really aware of post-metal as such. I knew bands, but I didn't know what they called that. So in a way, we felt a bit weird about being labeled so quickly, because we weren't going that direction. But I guess it's for others to decide, what it feels like. To us at this point, we don't mind because we love a lot of post-metal bands now. Throughout the years, we discovered a lot and fall in love with music such as this. So I guess it makes sense. We connect a lot with cinematic music ourselves. Also, we're always with somewhere there, and I guess that's what post-metal, post-rock is.
Yeah.
Get that? What do you guys think?
I think there was a time for us where we wanted to sort of shift away from that label of post-metal and like carve our own way. And I think I don't know if it was there was something important about doing that for a certain amount of time. But then I don't have anything against being shifted into that box. I mean, it is what it is for whoever listens to it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, someone might say, "No, I actually don't think it is just post-metal. It might be touching on those elements and into that subject." But I don't think it matters all that much to me now, anyway.
No. Especially if someone compares you in a way with some of your favorite bands in the field, says like this is the same shelf, let's say, or whatever. That's also nice.
Yeah, that's if people are comparing you to bands you love, it's just always an honour. And whatever makes it easier for people to discover it, or it's all fine.
And I think to it as well, because at the end of the day, we do listen to those bands, so it's I think inevitable to take from that.
Yeah, I think if there's one minus, it's if it stops people from discovering it, because I think there is a certain crowd that maybe we haven't reached yet. I think for many bands. Especially if you do, because at the beginning where people were not sure, many people saw us like, this is not really post-metal, this is more of this or that. So it's also nice. If people don't know exactly what it is, that's also great.
Yeah, I get you, lads. I mean, as I said, I introduced you as post-metal, but I mean, you could be included in so many different genres. I mean, death metal, you name it, like it's heavy, it's fast, there's slower parts. I suppose the whole post thing, I know, does it come from the lack of vocals? Do people tend to push bands into a post scene because there's no vocals? I don't know, that's just my opinion, I'm not sure.
I just think there's kind of like, there's two sort of types of instrumental band that became popular, maybe like 10 years ago. So you have like bands like Animals as leaders, or you've got Russian Circles, for instance. We're definitely not in this super technical world of music, and we probably are closer to like more of a cinematic ambient sort of metal type thing.
Can't even describe it. Confused. We all know. I know it's just the atmospheric music. If someone tells me post-metal, I know he likes stuff that he can get into. He could put on his headphones and just listen to it. Doesn't have to necessarily go and see it live. It's an album that you want to be left alone with, kind of.
Perfect. That's I won't go on too much about that. So we'll agree that it's just good music. Yeah. I suppose going back to COVID, lads, I don't want to be dwelling on it too much because it was such a fucking depressing time for everybody. Like, but did it give you as a group time to record stuff, get together, and record?
I think it gave us an opportunity to sort of really dig deep, practice a lot, and start writing again. That's mainly it, and also make space for it as well. Because actually, the room we're in right now used to be my room, and then I moved into a small sort of studio room because I said, well, because of COVID restrictions, we didn't want to have all the hassle with going into some place else with masks on, set up, and all that stuff. So once it all kind of relaxed and we were in that safe bubble, we just made use of this space. And and it's
There's the fact as well of not touring. It gave us more time to write, and with the experience of the last 10 years, we decided we want to make an album that is. We want to write as many songs or all songs that we would enjoy playing live. Like, this is an idea. Like, we want to enjoy playing those songs live, and I think that's where we're going, and that gives us a little space, to do it in the room, But
we've had sort of extra time to. Pete's put a studio in the practice room, so we're just getting to like demo and do a lot more pre-production than we have done in the past, which we've kind of both records we finished writing and we were in the studio the next day or a week or two later, and now we've had a lot more time to sort of really work on each song and make sure that everything's exactly as we want it.
Yeah, I did see your studio there. I think you did a walk down it on your Telepathy TV.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
That's the room you actually speak of. Yeah, it is cozy to say the least. Yeah.
It will change again in the next year or so, but yeah.
And what was the idea behind the Telepathy TV, lads? I mean, where did it come from? I know you've done 3 episodes. Is it something that's going to roll on, or was it just something you wanted to do?
Definitely continue. It's just we thought during the COVID time we'll try to bring as much news or things we do. It turned out to be more difficult to do it regularly.
I think it's this this is always seems to be a bit of an issue with whatever we start, because we start doing it as a relaxed thing. Oh, we're just going to do like a sort of behind the scenes thing, and then we can get into it a bit too much, and we want to make it look really good, and then we want to make it look even better, and then it makes it harder to sort of release anything because we kind of we can't record that yet, and so we probably would have recorded a lot more of it if we were less fussy. But because Peter as well is extremely fussy with quality, you are, aren't you? He is. He really wants things to look the bollocks. So it's like whenever we try and do stuff like this, it takes a long time.
And we forget to press record a lot of times.
I've actually checked this twice already to make sure I'm recording, and I know that feeling. I also remember you saying this is take 20, was it, on one of your episodes? So he is a perfectionist.
Actually, another thing though, I'll say, Peter, I think you've probably broken 3 drives now. You've lost 3 drives of data. So this is another.
I was really unlucky with my PC. Just kept on buying SSDs, and we just break. But however, we're definitely gonna release more. So we released the last one in December, December. So we want to definitely share a lot of stuff when we're gonna record. Definitely, then we record this here and there. So it's gonna happen more often. Don't know how if it's gonna be regular, but we definitely. It's called Telepathy TV, I guess, just so we know we should do it. We want to share stuff. So if it's something, people expect that there's gonna be more, and we want to do it. So we need a little pressure.
I think it was like as well, where it's just an additional thing where we weren't going on tour during the COVID. We're like, you sort of miss seeing people. You miss seeing the fans when you're playing shows or festivals, and we're like, okay, we've got this extra time. We can do something, at least to share a bit and create a conversation with people.
Exactly. It's that interaction again with fucking other humans outside of your own group, isn't it? It's getting in touch with the fans and sharing something and keeping people interested, because during COVID, it was nearly 2 years. It was a lot of time for people to be away from music and away from seeing live music and seeing bands play. So it was a great idea in that respect, lads, that you kept in touch, with fellas and groups and people.
Yeah, and I think also there was an idea, how do we introduce Krystian back in the band? How do we kind of we need to do something. The same for Ted. Ted is in one of the videos as well. Yeah. So we wanted to as well share that. So he wanted to share the fact that we are friends. So there's no hard feelings as well.
Yeah. We've always also had a sort of desire to balance it out. It's not just about musical content, these kind of things. We wanted to. There is a lot of funny things that happen on tour and behind the scenes, and sometimes it's nice to share them. But obviously, there's no easy way to do that. So we thought that this is probably going to be a space where that will happen a lot more as well.
Cool, yeah, I enjoy it, lads. I think people seem to be enjoying it too. So I look forward to seeing a few more episodes of that. But getting out of COVID, so lads, you're back touring. You're back touring a few months, aren't you? You were back sooner some other European countries, I suppose, UK were quick enough to lift restrictions. Like, so are you back in the swing of it now?
I mean, bless our agent. I think he rescheduled the Burn Embrace release shows about 3 or 4 times. We were really lucky that we sort of had that window where I think we got in a window before the restrictions got worse again. And yeah, those shows were amazing. So yeah, hopefully, right now we're just working on the new record, and then we've got some stuff lined up for the autumn which we can't announce, but we'll be back on the road then.
Yeah, Telepathy episode 8 may have some information on that, so yeah. I spoke to Mark Owen there from We Lost the Sea there recently as well, and he said the same thing as he. Like, I mean, they came out with Triumph and Disaster around 2019, 2020, and it never toured, so it's only 2022 now, and they're finally getting to put that music out there in a live environment. So it is almost the same as yourselves with Burn Embrace, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. The Burn Embrace release date was 23rd of March, wasn't it?
23rd of March, 2020.
Jesus.
Which was like basically as everything started. So yeah,
we tend to have a funny thing with our album releases and the thing behind them. Like with Tempest, we released the album, we called it Tempest before, like natural disasters, things like this. It's also, there's a bit of like a personal trouble and whatever. And then during that time, there was a lot of natural disasters happening, just as we dropped it. And Burn Embrace was about big change in life, about, completely changing your way of living. And we dropped it, and it happened. So we kind of, we decided maybe we should release something very positive, We're going to go pop way, we're going to do a pop song, but,
Just in case you're having an impact on what happens in the greater scale of things, yeah. It's crazy, like the world has gone insane, isn't it? What's your views on it, actually? Can I just ask you briefly, what's your take on it all? It's fucking mad, like.
It's emotionally, I mean, it was quite heavy, Because my girlfriend's family is quite close to the border, so it's kind of stressful for her especially, so that stress passes on to me. I don't know, it's just in the 21st century, here in Europe, we should be ashamed. That's all
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there, lads. I suppose, getting back to live music, and I was thinking about this, and I mentioned it to you already. When you play festivals or when you play your own gigs, whether it be supporting a band or whether it's your own shows, have you a preference? Do you get better feedback from one or the other? Personally, yourselves, what do you prefer doing?
Oh,
Tough one.
I don't know. You got like, I guess there's pros and cons to everything. Like, I like playing at festivals because I get to see bands that I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's a very selfish thing, and I get to catch some shows, and it breaks up a tour. It breaks up the routine. But I think playing your own shows, you have a level of comfort that's maybe like you have your own engineer. You have more time to prepare for the show. And I think you can probably put on a better show that way for people. But
yeah, it's nice to get more time and more.
But once again, this is a difficult one, because those shows where you're, say, supporting, actually, because of the lack of pressure suddenly there, in some ways, obviously depends, right? If you're supporting Solstice, I wouldn't say that's lack of pressure for us. That wouldn't be. But if a support show means probably a lot less pressure, and that sometimes tends to be more fun.
Yeah.
What about Krystian?
Oh, I just like to smash it. There's nothing else I said. It's for me. Yeah. The headlining, it's scary. Supporting is better. But I don't think about it. Yeah.
He just likes to play. He's just one of those guys. He just wants to play.
So
the ego games and all that. He's just like, okay, no, I just want to play.
Just turn up and play, huh? Drop the guitar and go again.
Yeah, but I feel like they doing the heavy lifting. I'm just showing up and just
You're just to polish on it all, is it, Krystian? Yeah.
I'm trying to help out as much with carrying gear later on to balance it out. Yeah, my efforts are, I think.
Well, I think you're being a bit modest, but ever since I remember Krystian playing live, he always did say that you kind of do just disconnect in a way and have fun. And I think probably out of all of us, Krystian is probably the most able to just enjoy things for what they are. Yeah. Because I think we really do overthink some things, and so that can be a lot more stressful, and you definitely switch off more and just have fun.
Cool. I mean, good as well, right? I think it's just alignment,
And he always breaks the bass strings, which I never saw bands do. I never saw bass. Okay, stop. But I mean, he's on the free shows, but
there is a video of him breaking the string and then changing it whilst in complete dark. Although
it got to the point that I always had the B string lying on my amp because I knew it's going to fall at some point. But then I learned how to play a bit better now.
Last show we did,
the last festival we did.
In Bristol.
Yeah. That was one of my favourite shows I've played in a long while. So I don't know if it's just the fact that it's you're hungry for it, so it tastes better, but I don't know. It just felt. I don't know. I feel older. I feel slower. I feel less able to play than I used to, but it felt better than ever. So I don't know.
Great stuff, lad. Come here. I know as you said, lads, you're in recording and you're doing your bits and pieces, but can you give us any feedback on the new album, where you're going with it, any ideas, dates, anything at all you can share?
Yeah, I guess bits and bobs. I mean, what can we say? We feel it's going to be our best work, I think.
Yeah. How do you know what every band says about their album? Saying the same thing. So it's probably heavier, and it's more melodic, and it's our best work yet.
But definitely heavier.
Yeah, it's definitely heavier.
I think. Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier. It's kind of we make it a purpose of playing live. We want to enjoy songs. So I think. I mean, how much can you say, really? But we enjoyed it a lot. I think that's what counts, and hopefully people will feel the same way when we release it. That we did something that we enjoyed a lot, and
we're tuning even lower now.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have 3 tunings. Yeah. So struggling now with setting up all the guitars and everything. It's just the tuning was already awkward, and now with another 2 different tunings. But that's exciting as well.
And I think it's going to have a lot more, I say a lot more. It's going to be, hopefully, obviously, not to be sort of sound arrogant, but I think it's going to be an album of bangers. It's previous albums were obviously, stories told, and it all kind of comes together. Now, hopefully this will still be a nice story, but within it each song will be, I think, memorable on its own as well.
There's more riffs, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you record this with sort of an idea of playing it live? Is that coming to your head when you're doing this recording? So you were saying, this will fucking really hit hard live. Is that, does that come into play when you're recording?
Yeah. How does it? I know we talk about it. Basically, that it feels like we want to write songs that we want to skip songs that we don't necessarily enjoy playing live. Not because we don't like them, but because they maybe don't feel like the live, for live purpose. And we want for people as well to, when they hear it on the album, they can hear all the songs live. Because with the time you get a little bit less time, you get more material, and you skip songs, and it's kind of heartbreaking to leave people disappointed that they didn't hear the song, this or that one, and we don't play it for certain reason, or because maybe simply that we have no time. So hopefully,
I think maybe even each idea in each song is more fleshed out. So rather than 20 parts in one song, there's 10 really good parts. Yeah, hard to describe. Basically, there's still going to be 20 parts. All the songs are going to be 15 minutes long.
Actually, are they longer tracks, shorter tracks? Does that even matter to you? Do you just play what you want to play?
I think there might be a track that will be longer than 15 minutes. Crazy enough. Funny enough, it's not a slow track. It's quite fast and powerful, and there's a lot of riff. But yeah, we're actually going to have a balance of shorter songs than before, I think, and much longer songs. But we'll see,
When the song's done, it's done. And if we're sort of enjoying a part...
I think that a really vital point there that Richard mentioned is that they're more fleshed out, which means I think we're taking care more, and especially it's funny because whenever Krystian sort of heard what we write and he heard a bit that he really liked, he said, "I want to hear more of it." Right, and this time we're really taking that to heart. I think
we're finally listening.
Finally listening to Chris. Well, it's finally listening to the fact that just because it's cool and we don't want to overdo it. No, this time it's like, nah, fuck it. We're gonna enjoy the hell out of it. And sorry for swearing, but yeah, we're gonna enjoy, the heck out of this riff because it's really good, and we're gonna let it sort of sit there and rather than just quick. Oh no, we're getting too uncomfortable in this. Run away to another section, kind of thing. Yeah, there's going to be more time to enjoy.
And I think we discovered we did every song we wrote, our favorite songs, we usually wrote within a day. Like some of the songs we wrote an idea at least within a day. And this is the idea as well. We don't spend too much time at home anymore. Like alone in the room writing a lot of riffs. It's more like let's get in a room and let's come up with idea together. Let's have maybe a rough idea, but yeah. So we do a much more in the room, and it just happens spontaneously. That's why maybe as well it feels like it's gonna be great live.
Yeah, because I review a lot of albums there as well, and I love the fact that when you hear a great riff, and you'd love to hear it breathe and not be short, and just to let it, like a jamming session, let it go for a few minutes, and really get into it. And I just think there's so many bands do cut it short. So what you spoke about there is music to my ears, like, to hear a great hook and a great riff and just, let it play a while, like, enjoy it for what it is.
Oh, we don't want to give you false hope. We might, what we might think is fleshing it out might still not be enough for some. But we're getting there. Hopefully we'll...
Well, I reckon a 15-minute track has enough flesh anyway, let's be honest. I'd say there's plenty there for me. I suppose, look, I want to finish up the show, and I call them 3 session questions, right? 3 questions I ask everybody who comes on. The first question, lads, is if you could go into the recording studio and record a cover version of any genre, any decade, any track you like, what would it be? And I might go around individually, lads, because I'm curious to hear all your different influences in music.
You guys start. Let's go from the youngest.
No, why me? I'm probably the least prepared. No, you guys have the best ideas with these kind of things.
The first one that comes to my mind is I would love to do a version of Machine Gun by Portishead.
Nice. I like it.
I had few ideas, and it's hard to choose between. I enjoy a lot of cinematic music myself. So, a chance to actually gonna be recording with orchestra or something like this. I would love to be a part of recording the Dark Knight theme. So basically, I will go in a big studio with the orchestra. I just would like to have a chance and do that.
Nice, yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, the cinematic side of it. Yeah, brilliant. Krystian there is sitting there. I don't know, does he even want to answer this question? But I'm going to ask it anyway.
No, I totally. Yeah, sorry, I came unprepared here.
Deftones. I know for you.
Yeah, Deftones was such a boring answer, right? So.
Well, it's an obvious answer because who wouldn't want to do it, right?
I thought there is something in the spirit of Rammstein that I don't know what you would cover. They are like a perfect version of themselves, so you couldn't change it, right? But
yeah,
being in that experience with those, but this bunch seems like I would like to be there when they were doing it, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's just came to me.
Cool.
I think
Nice.
for me, I'm close to, because there's always two ideas for me of what to cover, and it would be like, cinematic is also what I'm into quite a lot, and there's Hans Zimmer soundtracks are amazing. As well, I think there was actually an interview which asked once what sort of instrumental albums, like your favorite instrumental album, and I actually went for a soundtrack from the movie King Arthur from Hans Zimmer. There's amazing percussion in some of these, and for me it's like the bomb, and I was like, it would be awesome to cover that stuff. But also I would say, actually, since Peter already covered that, I would say Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit, new metal. I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for new metal. Grew up with that stuff. Korn, Deftones, Limp Bizkit, Mudvayne, and all these bands. I would love to cover one of those songs and do it justice somehow.
Well, you're not the first, because I had Monosphere on a few weeks ago there, and Rodney from Monosphere also went with that era of music. Yeah, so it had its time, and it had a big part to play in things like in the metal scene, Second question, lads: if you could go and play live on the stage with any band, past or present, and actually play with them in their lineup, who would it be?
Oh, hang on, but in the lineup, as in
you could play with that band on stage.
I'd go obvious. I mean, I don't know what else to say, I mean, it's been there always, it's always been one of my favorite bands. Why not? Why not them? Why not aim high?
Exactly. And are you still a huge fan, even as their music changed and progressed over the last 30 years?
Sorry again.
Are you still as big a fan now of Metallica as you would have been way back?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't listen to it every day because there's so much music, But yeah, definitely, I'm still, as you can see.
And there's nothing wrong with just putting on Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
And fucking enjoying.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd agree with you.
I'm looking for the new album, actually. I hope it's gonna drop soon. I know they're making it, so.
Yeah, I'll try and get him on the show. What's my chances? Richard, what's the story? What's your choice?
I'd like to play in The Cure.
Oh, nice. Good
But
call.
just an easy job so that I could enjoy being there.
Just a triangle.
Yeah, just a triangle or a tambourine.
A tambourine would do it, yeah.
Just to watch Robert Smith play the guitar, really.
Actually, he does a festival, doesn't he, lads, in the UK somewhere?
He created the Meltdown Festival that's at the South Bank.
Is that what it is, yeah? Have you been called there yet? No? Have you been asked to play?
Unfortunately not.
Not yet. Exactly, yeah. Krystian, in the background there, what's your call? Who would like to be on stage with?
I think my favorite band to listen to groove to is Deftones, definitely. But to play with, I think I would want to experience what used to happen during the Dillinger skate plant gigs.
Oh.
Yeah, in that mess. Oh my God.
Just seeing the absolute chaos.
Yes. This one time when Nine Inch Nails invited Dillinger's skate plant over to play Wish, I still rewatch that stage camera sometimes. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. That is an amazing piece of live footage.
So that's the moment you want to be part of. So, Krystian, if you were to put one down, that's it. That moment.
Complete chaos. Just love it.
Great stuff.
That's a
Deep thoughts. So there's still deep thought here. Yeah.
tough one. I think actually, I think I would still go the same sort of avenue. What always amazed me is actually when I saw people take the piss out of Limp Bizkit, but yeah, there you go. But the stuff that the way they make the crowd sort of listen to them is something I would want to experience. I think, but I wouldn't mind being at least behind that kid and seeing how Fred just enchants these guys to do what he likes them to do, and it's like that must be an amazing experience.
Yeah, to have the power over 50, 60,000 people, I get you. And I suppose the last question is, can you give us the name of a band or an album that we should look forward to in 2022, besides your own, obviously?
Okay. To be honest, I was trying to think. I don't know what is out there coming out. I was looking forward to the new Batman theme, which already came out.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, but I still must say Dark Knight wins. But yeah, no, I actually don't have anything. I couldn't.
Okay.
What's on the radar? I've been a bit busy with stuff, so I don't know what's about to come out. Guys?
The new Conjurer record
Oh yeah.
coming out on Nuclear Blast soonish, I think. I think that's probably going to be definitely one of the best metal records of the year. So yeah, I'd say definitely pick that.
Brilliant.
I know Deftones are writing again. But okay, so as fun as I heard, which I didn't like actually, the Folds. I like Folds. I really like Folds, and they were, but I didn't quite like the track I heard on the radio. Still, I need to check out the album. So that might be good. Previous was good. Really good. Yeah.
Folds. We go with Folds. So cheers, Krystian.
Well, I'm similar and probably a lot worse than Peter. I'm an absolute caveman when it comes to what's coming out. I kind of find out from Richard, have you heard this? And I'm like, oh, and then I check it out. So I'm seeing Vardruna releasing some new stuff. I'm hoping, I don't know when they'll release new stuff, but I'm into that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more from them.
See them live now.
I'm going to see them live on 17th. And also, I think, I might be totally wrong here and making an idiot of myself, but I really loved his stuff with Ivar Bjornsson from Enslaved. Yeah. So I think they might have planned to do more of that. I really think that's going to happen because I loved it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's. I saw that Brutus were in the studio.
Oh yeah, Brutus. Yeah.
They have something coming out. Then.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking forward to
that was your other one.
That'd be really good. I love that band.
Great band, yeah, a great band. Lads, come here first. I want to say thanks anyway for taking the time out, lads, to chat to me. Really appreciate it, and thanks for all those answers there. They're interesting to say the least. And of course, good luck with the new album whenever it comes out. I can't wait to get hold of it, get the press kit off you, and review it. Hopefully, lads, if you send it my way, it'd be great. And good luck with the tours. Good luck touring in the summer. I'd say, I'm assuming it's a full, a busy period for you. Yeah.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, yes. We don't really know exactly, but yeah, might be. And thank you. Some of them were really tough, just because I think where we are at the moment. But yeah.
Well, look, you're busy guys yourselves, so I suppose not everybody can be out there checking and listening to new music. When you're doing your own stuff, it's not that easy. Again, thanks so much, lads, for being on board. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for listening, and thanks to Richie from the Metal Cell for editing and producing the show. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Take care.